to the Soul Body Horse podcast, where we dive deep into the horse-human connection. Here we believe in the power of stories, in digging deeper, pushing further, and asking the oft unsaid question. I'm your host, Meredith Crawford. In today's episode, we have a special guest, Sheridan Ruth, and I am so excited to introduce you to her. Sheridan is an integrative somatic trauma therapist, Ayurveda, and yoga wellness coach. She hosts the Exposed podcast, which looks at body-based ways to ease anxiety, heal trauma, and create an empowered connection with love and money. Thanks so much for joining us today, Sheridan.
Yeah, thank you for having on. I'm excited to jump in and share a little bit about resilience and trauma therapy and somatics for humans. Yeah, thank you.
Just to get things started, talk to us a little bit about nervous system capacity and building resilience and how that all ties into your work with integrative somatic trauma therapy.
Yeah, so I'm going to start right at the beginning. And, when I was in university and I was studying, we did this study on what makes a community resilient. And at the time I was living in Colombia, and it was seen as one of the most resilient communities in all of the world. And I got kind of obsessed with this idea of resilience, but at the same time, I got kind of annoyed. I don't know if you've ever had that experience where you've had someone say to you, oh, like, you're so resilient, or this person is so resilient. And there's this feeling around being resilient. It's like you're moving through something difficult, but I think sometimes the way that the word resilient is used or spoken about, it kind of means like you're coming out of something really difficult looking for the silver lining, and it can be like almost a little bit invalidating to the entire experience. Is that something that you've ever experienced, Meredith, or thought about?
That is. And of course, for equestrians, resilience often is discussed in terms of getting back on the horse after a fall or after a moment of maybe shock where the horse does something unexpected.
Yeah.
Or building resilience. Yeah, really is around fear, both with the horse, but also on the performance side.
Yeah. And I think what you've said picks up the essence of what we all believe resilience is and what it probably is, which is I fell off. Okay. Something didn't go well. We made a mistake. We had a miscommunication. I fell off. Get back on the horse. And so I was a horse rider when I was a kid, and I fell off a lot and I got back on. And we all want to be able to get back on the horse a little bit quicker. But sometimes what happens in the pursuit of getting back on the horse is we actually become less resilient because we prioritize getting back on the horse. So if we think about, I fall off a horse, the horse kicks back behind me, they kick into my thigh, and I break my thigh. I break my femur bone, right? One of the hardest bones to break, but people break it, especially around horses because they're so powerful and big and strong. And a femur takes a really long time to heal. But if I try and get back up on the horse before my femur has healed, inevitably, I'm going to fall off again because I'm weak and I'm not really ready to be riding, or I don't know, I'm going to be pushed up against a tree or something. Something difficult is going to happen, and I'm actually going to end up weaker because I didn't allow that femur to really heal. And so I've always had this like desire to become more resilient. I've been through a lot of things in my life. I'm sure like just as you have, just as many other people have, this desire to become more resilient and get back up on the horse. And if you're listening, you probably have a similar one. But for today, I want us to begin to consider that resilience isn't just getting back up on the horse. It's being able to be in the healing process so that when you do inevitably get back up, which you will, you do so with more strength and more wisdom so that the same mistake doesn't happen again.
Amazing.
Yeah, that's what led me to the somatic therapy, because to be really candid about it, we have a lot of great tools out there. We really do. We have great counselors, there's energy workers, there's all of these amazing things. And I'm not saying that they're wrong or not helpful. But at the end of the day, whenever we're changing, whether we're growing, whenever we're healing, you don't heal a broken femur by talking about it. You don't heal a broken femur by just sending energy to it, You don't heal it by hoping and wishing and just giving it time. No, you have to go in there and you have to change the physiological set point of how your bones and your ligaments and your muscles are now being arranged and create a supportive environment for it to heal. And it will heal when it is a supportive environment. Humans are exactly the same. We will become more resilient and more wise as long as we are in a supportive environment. There's nothing super, super crazy about it. It's just a part. And we have this intelligence inside of us, this somatic intelligence that literally runs through our veins and sits within, that has this impulsive consciousness that, given the right conditions, wants to help us come back to the status quo. It wants to help us to come back to our healthiest selves, and it wants to help us heal. And that's what somatic therapy is all about. It's about tapping into that intelligence that lives inside, through the body, through the breath, inside of the bones, in your anatomy, and in the way that you care for that anatomy, so that you can heal all of the pain and the heartbreak and the wounds and the trauma and the stress that we come across inevitably every single day that we live, and then get up back on the horse with more wisdom the next time.
In your role with all of these different modalities and aspects, how do you see the connection between the body and the spirit? And how do they interact or work with each other?
My initial thought is like, they're not connected, they're the same. But that's a little bit of an abstract answer. So I'm going to give you a better one. The spirit is living inside of the body, and the body encompasses and lives within the spirit, both at the same time. It both encompasses and it also lives within. They both encompass each other at the same time. And so I think it depends on what each individual wants to really feels is true for them. Something that somatic therapy is all about is that I can be like, you know what, God lives inside of me and I'm right. And you can say, no, God lives outside of me and you're right as well. And you can connect to your higher self and say that God doesn't exist. And our friend over there can connect to spirit and say that the higher self and God doesn't exist. And we're all completely 100% right. It is all true. And I think somatic therapy, it's really about coming back to the body so that you can connect to that part of you that if we dedicated the rest of our lives to trying to describe spirit or what it is, we would never have the words to do so. But it's finding that level of consciousness where you are so certain in yourself and you're so connected to the people around you that you're able to hold your fears and your pain and your hopes and your dreams and your disappointments and the things you're excited about, and a connection with everyone. But the only way to do it is to like breathe into your body, sit with your body, learn what your body, how it moves, learn how if you change your breath pattern, it will affect the people around you. That's the only way to do it. It's not thinking about it or talking about it. It's getting down on the ground, like hand on your heart, and okay, inside, where are you? Can I come to my legs? Can I feel you? Does that answer your question?
It does. And do you have favorite tools or exercises that you do with someone right when they come to work with you to help them explore where they're at?
Yeah. This is the type of thing, where it's important to understand what your nervous system tendencies are. So I'll just kind of quickly explain it because it's going to change which tools you're going to want to use. So your nervous system, there's that autonomic nervous system that governs everything that's happening inside of your body, your physiological response, your thoughts, your emotions, your digestion, your sex drive, all of that. If you tend to be a little bit more activated, maybe you're moving towards a bit of an anxious or an angry type mood. If you and I sit down and I say, okay, we're going to do a meditation now where we kind of go down into our legs, and we feel our legs, and you touch your legs and you just move into your legs. And we're going to sit with that for a few minutes in silence, just feeling your legs. Your brain is going to go crazy. It's going to be really hard for you to slow down because your nervous system is activated, meaning it doesn't really perceive that slowing down is in its best interest. Your mind is going to go, oh my God, no, we are absolutely not going to let this happen. Like, it's got to move because the energy in your body, it thinks that it's in danger. It thinks that it needs to move either towards into a fight pattern or backwards into a flee pattern. But if we're in that activated state, it's a silly idea to try and meditate. So if I was working with somebody who is able to identify, and I'm able to identify that they're there, or maybe they've self-identified before with one of the tools that I would provide, we're going to work with that energy and we're going to do what we call complete the cycle. When we're in a sympathetic state, we need to complete the cycle of energy in order to break through to the other side, where we access those happy hormones and those regulated hormones and that energy that feels really good, where we can then connect to spirit and guidance and confidence and clarity. You see this like in animals. If you spook a horse, could you imagine spooking a horse, not letting it move up or back or around or just go for a run and then trying to tell it to calm down? Like, it's not going to work. Thankfully, we're the only species that can calm our nervous system by just using our mind and our consciousness. So we do have a little bit more control. And your body's going to want to do what your body's going to want to do. It's made to do that. So we're going to move with that. So we might do some movement. We might do some shaking. We might do some breathing. We might do some sounds, just go for a walk even. It's like, how can I move this energy? And it might just be moving your hand. How can I move the energy until the energy is dissipated, until it's ready, until it says, okay, cool. I've completed this cycle. I've moved the energy through my body that my body provided to me to save my life. If you come to me and you're it's immobilized, some people call it freeze, but it's this immobilization of your body thought that the most efficient way to save your life was to shut down, kind of play dead.
Yeah. And I was thinking, getting back to our earlier conversation about falling off a horse, how much of the time after I come off a horse, I'm physically there, but there's something in me that's frozen. That's when the trainer that I typically says, get on the horse, but yet your state is still frozen.
Because if you think about it, if you've just fallen off a horse, I know that if I fight a horse, I am not going to win.
Right.
I know that if I try and run away from a horse, I am not going to win, especially if it's right next to me and I've just fallen off of it. If you've just fallen off, you're looking up at this big monster with these powerful legs. Even saying that, I feel my body going into a little bit of a freeze right now, just imagining it, because your body says, big, strong animal, can't fight, can't run, freeze. So what we need to do is we need to bring mobilization to that. And it usually just means like moving your legs. It's the hardest nervous system state to work with when you've been in it for a really long time. It's the reason that we like to scroll on our phones. It's the reason that everything just feels kind of numb and like meh, like, and we feel sad and lonely and full of shame. And the antidote to that is movement. We have to bring movement in. So one of the ways that I like to work with it is getting people to the emotion of anger. Even if you can get angry at yourself because you fell off a horse, that means that we're moving into activated energy. And so it's like, okay, you get to be angry for a little while. Yeah. Okay. Get annoyed. Moving your limbs. I use essential oils a lot of the time because it works. It goes straight into the brain in really wonderful ways. And I won't go into that right now, but it can bring this activating energy in when there's an activating essential oil. But we need to bring mobilization. And more importantly, it's not just like mobilization. Okay, I'm going to literally move and get on the horse. It's mobilization and then a recognition of, okay, I moved. Danger's not here. Okay, I'm safe. And that might literally be you go for a walk, you look around, like we have to do this thing where we lift our chin up and we're actually helping the vagus nerve. If you lift your chin up and look around and all the way around your room and you actually inspect it and look for threats, it actually tells the nervous system, okay, we checked out the surroundings and there are no threats. It can feel that energy of like, I lift my chin up and I move to my neck and I can see that there are no threats. And that's very regulating for the nervous system. But we have to have that moment of, okay, yeah, I'm good to go. All is good. It can happen in 2 minutes. It can happen in 2 days. It can happen in 2 weeks.
Fascinating. Well, if you'd like to learn more about Sheridan, check out her podcast, Exposed with Sheridan Ruth. For more information about our host, Meredith Crawford, and her journey with Relevate, visit their Patreon at patreon.com/relevate. Thanks for listening.